darling.
Oh, hello, dear.
Sorry I'm late, but I went back with Betty. She wanted to show me her new coat.
Was it a good film?
It's a beautiful coat. I tried it on, and it looked really lovely.
How about the film?
Beautifully warm, too. And it wasn't all that expensive.
Why, where did you sit?
I'll go and hang my things up.
You can tell me all about it when you come down.
About the coat?
About the film. An everyday conversation, but one which led eventually to the writing of this biography. The life story of that shy young man, David Alexander Bliss, known to us as George Cole.
It's certainly time I had a new coat. It's not a question of being in fashion. I find it embarrassing.
What?
Walking around in period costumes.
How much?
Betty's coat?
Yes.
20 guineas.
Tell me about the film.
We quite enjoyed it, but it was rather depressing.
Good gracious, it worked.
I'll be coming back to the coat.
Oh. Depressing?
Heavily psychological. The characters were all twisted up inside. The son of the family had taken to a life of crime. Mother blamed father blamed her, and the son blamed them both. I felt quite sorry for his girlfriend. She was an orphan.
So?
She only had herself to blame.
But it all came right in the end.
Don't be silly. Happy endings went out with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
I'm obviously out of touch.
You should take me more often.
Tell me how it ended.
The mother died of grief. The father was so upset he drank himself to death, and the son, having jilted his girlfriend, only had himself to blame.
But he died as well?
Oh, yes, she shot him.
How morbid.
Terribly. I was expecting the manager to walk on the stage at any moment.
To say what?
Is there a psychiatrist in the house?
Oh, that's nothing. You should read this book.
Good.
But depressing, heavily psychological.
The characters all twisted up inside.
Even the covers walked.
Oh, dear. Did you watch the play on television?
Yes, I did.
And?
Even the picture was distorted.
Oh, I'm not at all sure I want to be Harold. Life's grim enough already.
Oh, you're right, it is. And a dickens of a struggle, too.
You don't have to tell me that. Look at the struggle I have to get a new coat.
Oh, I'm developing a guilt complex.
I'm glad.
Then, to be fair, that's why authors write as they do.
Why?
People are complex. And there's a skeleton in every cupboard.
That's no reason to keep opening the door.
Well, that reminds me, David phoned. He's all right for Friday evening.
Oh, good. What reminded you?
A skeleton in every cupboard.
Poor David. Nobody could call him complex.
No. He's definitely a simple character.
He's shy.
Oh, sorry. Only joking.
Incurably romantic and completely without guile.
That could almost be the story of his life. An open book in romantic vein and full of misprints.
Nice light reading.
Oh, definitely, bless his old heart. Fire's getting low. Shall I make it up or are we going to bed? Anne?
Sorry, I was just thinking.
About?
Chapter 1, Avril Seymour, David's very first girlfriend.
Oh, say, this came back a few years. How old was he then?
About 17, I suppose. He'd certainly left school.
And still had everything to learn.
I arranged for her to come round one evening, remember?
Oh, yes. And then sent me in to break the news to him. That was one evening when we needed a psychiatrist in the house. An evening I shall never forget. He was sitting in that very chair. David, old man.
Yes, Tony?
We've got somebody coming round this evening. Her mother's a friend of Anne's, Avril Seymour.
Oh, gosh.
You know her then?
Well, yes, I went to a party once and she was there.
Pretty?
Oh, gosh. Jolly pretty. Dark hair and dark eyes. Lovely eyes, actually. But rather an odd colour. Sort of greeny colour. A lovely smile, too, and a lovely voice. It's sort of musical.
You obviously got on like a house on fire.
Oh, no, I didn't speak to her.
You didn't?
No. Except when we were introduced, of course.
And then you said, how do you do? Never mind. You have every chance to speak to her this evening. Anne will be busy in the kitchen, and by a lucky coincidence, I've got an odd job to do in the other room.
Well, what's so lucky about that? I thought you hated doing odd jobs.
Lucky for you.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, I see what you mean.
About time.
If you didn't do it, Anne might rope me in.
You'll be alone with Avril.
Alone?
Yes.
Couldn't we come and help you?
Oh.
I just wouldn't know what to say if we were left on our own.
Nonsense.
I wouldn't, honestly. I don't know what comes over me, but the moment I am with I try to get into conversation with... no, not that I do, but I have and I can't, honestly. I just... Something just... The words just won't... Not that I can think of anything, but my brain goes all... And my throat...
All right. I'm convinced. But you've just got to conquer it, you know. And if you tried, you could conquer it tonight.
How?
Mind over matter. I'll prove it to you. You don't find it difficult to talk to another man, do you?
Well, no.
All right, then. Forget she's a girl.
Forget?
Blot it out of your mind. You met a chap at the party. Now then, what would you say if you saw him again?
What would I say?
Yes.
Hello, Eric. Nice to see you again.
Eric?
Well, that's the chap I met at the party.
Oh, fine. An imaginary chap.
Oh, no. He was really there.
No. On second thoughts, we'll stick to him. Supposing he was coming round this evening, what would you say to him?
Hello, Eric. Nice to see you.
Yes, after that.
What have you been doing with yourself?
Splendid. And then?
He'd tell me.
Yes, that's reasonable. But supposing he was looking particularly smart, what would you say?
What are you all dolled up for?
Well, you'd hardly use that phrase to Avril, but you'd be right to mention it.
Well, I doubt if she'll bother, actually.
About what?
Dolling herself up to come round here.
Mention it anyway. Tell her how charming she looks and how charming she looked at the party. The girl expects it.
Yeah, a moment ago you told me to forget she was
a girl. Yes, I know I did. He's a vain chap.
Oh, gosh, that's the last thing you could say about...
About Eric. Forget the whole idea. It's a mistake to read it.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all right. I'm sorry I lost my temper. I only wish I could think of something else. Describe her again.
Avril?
Yes.
Oh, dark hair and dark eyes.
Lovely eyes.
Sort of greeny. Rather an odd shade. A lovely smile, too. Her whole face seemed to shine. And a lovely voice, sort of musical.
Yet you have the effrontery to tell me you wouldn't know what to say. Don't you see that proves you can conquer it?
Does it?
Yes, well, of course it does. That'll be Avril. It's now or never.
Oh, never.
Rubbish.
All right, Uncle.
Let's have a look at you. Got a handkerchief?
Yes, but...
Mop your brow. I'll tell you what we'll do.
What?
Arrange a distress signal. Now, let me think. I know, the radiogram. I'll turn it on ready. There. Put a record on. I'll hear it in the other room.
Realize I'm in distress?
And come a-running. Mop your brow.
I have.
Well, mop it again. Here, use my handkerchief. You can wring that one out later. Oh, you poor old lad. You'll be all right. And if you're not...
Put a record on.
Right.
In here? Oh, thank you.
Come along in, Avril. I believe you met David.
At a party once. Hello.
Hello.
How's the baby, Anne? Asleep, I hope. I must get back to the kitchen. Excuse me, won't you, Avril?
And me. I've been detailed for an odd job. David's dying to talk to you, aren't you, David?
Dying.
See you both in a minute.
I thought you were dying to talk to me.
Yes.
Well?
Nice to see you again, Eric.
Eric?
Avril. Sorry, I was thinking of another chap.
Another chap?
Yeah, thinking of another girl.
Oh, that was very horrid of you.
No. I wasn't thinking of anybody else.
Well, then why say you were?
I don't know. But I know what I wanted to say.
What's that?
How dolled up you look. How charming you look. And how charming you looked at the party.
Well, I don't suppose you even noticed me.
Oh, that's just where you're wrong. I noticed everything about you. Your eyes, the way you... everything.
What about my eyes?
I noticed they were odd. Sort of shady.
So rude.
No, I'm not being rude.
Well, it sounds like it.
Sorry.
What were you trying to say?
Well, I noticed what an odd colour you were.
I was?
Your eyes was. Eyes. Well, lovely shade of green. And so was your smile.
Green?
Yes, and your face was all shiny. No. Your smile was lovely.
And my face?
Was green. I'll put a signal on.
No.
A distress... a record. Oh, yes. Here we are.
Well, what's he called?
Called? Yeah, oh! Oh, gosh. I'll put this one on instead. Ride of the Valkyrie.
It's terribly loud.
I want to make sure he hears.
Who?
Tony. Tony likes it loud.
Well, I do.
Well, I can't help that.
You really are the rudest person I ever... What on earth do you think you're doing? You wake Caroline.
Oh, all right, I'll turn it off.
Oh, too late. You really are impossible. I'm going home.
Oh, no, please, I didn't mean to...
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
She's going home. Gone home. What happened? Everything.
Oh, dear. I'm afraid I was out in the garage.
Well, that's all right. It wasn't your fault. It was a complete failure.
Oh, there'll be other evenings and other girlfriends.
What an awful thought.
You'll conquer it in time.
Never. Never, as long as I live.
And bless his heart, he never has got over it.
No, not completely.
But he's never admitted defeat.
Not for a second. It's getting cold in here.
Time for bed. He's better than he was.
Oh, much. He's learned to live with his shyness.
Yes, but what a life.
A chapter of accidents.
Enough to fill a book. Mind you, you're right.
Right?
Nice, light reading.
My life story?
The Misadventures of a Shy Young Man by Anthony Fellows. I hope you don't mind.
Well, on the contrary, I'm flattered to think... Misadventures?
In the nicest sense.
But I don't understand. How did it all begin?
The other evening, I'd seen a film and he was reading a book. Both heavily psychological.
So?
He thought he'd try something lighter.
In the nicest sense?
Yes.
Hear that, Psyche? Tony's going to write a book about me. Oh, yes, and you'll be in it, too. Well, naturally.
Oh, by the way, he wants a few biographical details.
Not from you, from me.
What did that mean?
Roughly, big head. You know, it's funny. I didn't realize Tony was a writer.
I'm still to be convinced. But he seems confident enough.
Really?
Horribly. But then men are always the same. Football to foreign affairs. They have one favorite comment.
What's that?
I could make a better job of it myself.
Well, that's true enough. But has he actually started?
The first few paragraphs.
Have you seen them?
Well, no. I'm not allowed to read it myself.
Oh, he reads it to you?
Yes.
And then you have to criticize?
Criticize? I have to live with him.
Oh, no, just a second. You're not suggesting Tony can't take criticism.
I'm not suggesting it. I'm warning you.
Warning me?
It'll be your turn this evening. And if the conversation takes its usual course, there are quite a few stumbling blocks.
Oh, dear. I suppose you couldn't take me round the course.
How?
Well, point out the stumbling block so that I can work out the answers.
All right, then, let me think. What's he likely to say now? Ah, yes. Only scribbling it down for my own amusement. It'll probably be very bad.
To which I reply, oh, nonsense, Tony, I'm sure it'll be terribly good. And the next?
Not a chance of getting it published.
Answer, I'm sure there's every chance. Next?
No need for any more.
Why?
You obviously know what you're doing.
Oh, gracious. I never thought I'd ever hear anybody say that about me.
I know. I was surprised myself. Oh, and David, don't forget, if he reads it to you, don't criticize. Just be a good audience.
Applaud his handiwork.
Every time he pauses.
Pauses?
For applause.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, dear, there he is. You will have to be careful, Poppet. I know Tony's got a sense of humor, but Anthony Fellows, the author, takes himself very seriously.
Don't worry, I won't stumble. Not now I've been round the course.
Oh, hello, dear.
Hello, darling.
Hello, David, old boy. How's the world with you?
Oh, fine, thanks, Anthony. You?
Anthony?
Oh, Tony, I was thinking of your pen name.
Oh, so you've heard about the book?
Yes, he doesn't mind a bit, do you, David?
Oh, on the contrary, I'm flattered.
Why, I can't imagine why, only scribbling it down for my own amusement.
Hello, we've started. You've started it then?
Oh, I roughed out a couple of pages. Probably be very bad.
Oh, nonsense, Tony. I'm sure it'll be terribly coarse. Coarse? I'm sure it'll be terrible nonsense. Terribly good.
It certainly started promisingly.
Well, I don't see how you can tell yet.
The style's amusing.
Oh, you think so?
Delightfully, and it flows so smoothly.
Beautifully smoothly.
Trying to pull my leg?
No, of course not.
You haven't read it, so how would you know?
Well, could we come back to that one? I mean, that is,
You feel you read it?
Yeah, after listening to Anne. According to her, it's superlative.
So it is.
Well, I'm longing to hear it.
No, I'll read it to you later on.
I say, will you?
Oh, by the only chance you'll ever have, it'll never be published.
Answer? I'm sure there's every chance.
Pulling my leg again?
Well, no, that's the only possible answer.
Why? I've never written anything before.
No, but you've always had the gift of expression, and I've always envied you.
Oh, never mind, you're learning.
Am I?
Obviously, you got yourself out of that neatly enough.
It wasn't too bad, was it? I mean,
I meant it as a compliment. You like to hear it now? Please.
I'll go and get it for you.
Ah, thank you, dear. It's on the writing desk.
Yes, I know.
well, Anne said you wanted some biographical details.
Well, one or two, yes.
She wants to be asked some, too.
Oh, all right, then. When were you born, eh? Psyche?
Honestly, she's almost human.
She hasn't even barked.
What, and give her age away?
Here you are, darling.
Ah.
I brought your notes as well.
Oh, good. I jotted the queries down somewhere. Ah, yes, here we are. First of all, the mystery of Rosalind Young.
Oh, good gracious. I'd forgotten about Rosalind.
You went out together for about a month, then suddenly she disappeared from your life.
Promising to phone.
Well, what stage did you reach?
Stage? Oh, Christian names.
That solved that.
She was awfully pretty.
About the prettiest of all my girlfriends.
Oh, I wouldn't have said she was as attractive as Shirley, oh, yes, that was another query.
Her surname?
Yes.
Summers.
Ah.
Oh, yes, of course, Shirley Summers.
She'd get my vote every time.
Well, does a married man have a vote?
Yes, it's definitely a secret ballot.
I'd still vote for Rosalind.
You'd better keep that secret, too. Otherwise, you'll be in trouble with Zoe. What time's she coming, by the way?
Well, she'll be here in a few minutes.
Oh, good.
Actually, there's no comparison. I wouldn't call Zoe pretty.
I would,
Would you?
if I were you.
She's so much more than that.
That's better.
Well, that's what I meant. I mean, anyways, it's rather an insipid word. You talk about a girl being chocolate box pretty.
Yes, and as often as not, you can elaborate on that.
Meaning?
For display purposes only, nothing under the lid.
Well, that's certainly not true of Zoe. She's so full of personality, all the others seem colourless. So full of fun, too. So gay and alive. And then, in a way, her looks reflect her personality. Her eyes are always laughing, and when she smiles, even that funny little nose seems to join in the joke. No, pretty is not the word for her. It wouldn't do her justice.
No, but you have. What a charming description.
Worthy of me.
I say, that is a compliment.
But with one regrettable omission. Not a word about her figure.
Well, no. But then I wouldn't attempt to describe the impossible.
That's an unfortunate remark.
Well, I mean that it's so perfect. Oh, dear, I'll never get any better.
Ah, but you have. And that brings us to chapter 1. Averil Seymour.
Oh,
Remember that evening?
a nightmare. I called her Eric.
Said that her eyes were odd, her smile was green.
And her face was shiny. And then came the distress signal. I put that record on, you remember?
That reminds me, I've got the supper on. I'll leave you to the misadventures of a shy young man.
By Anthony Fellows. Oh, you going to listen as well? All right, then. Just keep quiet and be a good audience. Well, applaud his handiwork. No, just keep quiet.
What do you think of the title?
Well, first rate.
No, not too sure about it myself. Still, here goes. I married his sister. That's how I became involved and why I happen to be writing this book. I saw a lot of him during my courting days, but I put that down to his youth and forgave him. Rather a nice touch, eh?
Hmm? Oh, yes, very amusing. Sorry, I missed that pause. Pause? For applause.
I suppose you're not pulling my leg this time.
No, of course not.
Then perhaps you'd explain.
I can't imagine what I was thinking of.
Something Anne said, perhaps?
Oh, no, she didn't say it.
Oh, so it was said, then?
Yes, but not by Anne.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. I haven't read it to anybody else. What else has you been saying behind my back?
Well, how good she thought it was, and that she was sure you'd get it published.
Well, I'm not overconfident myself.
Those were her very words just before you came in.
What?
How overconfident you were. how horrible you were. So, confident she was.
Would you ask her to call me when supper's ready?
But you haven't finished.
Yes, I have. Finished with it altogether. I was under the impression I was writing something light-hearted. But now even that first line strikes a tragic note.
First line?
I married his sister.
Oh, gosh. I've properly put the cat amongst the pigeons. No, it's just an expression. I'm even getting you muddled now.
Everything's under control. Oh, finished already?
Completely.
What did you think of it? Some of it's quite witty, isn't it?
No, you don't understand. I got into my usual muddle.
Oh, dear. Was he very cross with you?
With both of us.
I shouldn't worry. You'll soon... Both of us?
Yes.
Oh, dear, again. Still, you'll soon get over it. I hope Zoe's not going to be late.
No, I haven't improved, you know. It's all very well to talk smugly about that nightmare evening with Avril Seymour, but the fact is I'm the same as ever.
Nonsense. It's just one of those evenings.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Oh, there she is now. You go and let her in, and I'll go and cope with Tony. Oh, and David.
Yes?
Knowing the trouble you have with names, it's Zoe, not Avril.
Thanks.
Hello, darling.
Hello, Eric. Come along in.
Eric?
Oh, gosh, I'm sorry. I was thinking of chapter 1.
Chapter 1?
Avril Seymour.
Oh, who's Avril Seymour?
My first girlfriend.
But you called me Eric.
I know, that's what I called her.
Would it help if I went out and came in again?
I'm past help. In here, darling. After you.
Oh, thank you. Hello, then. What's your master been up to, eh? There's loyalty for you. Where is everybody?
Well, Anne's coping with Tony. He's in a bit of a temper.
Why? What did you say to him?
Well, it's rather a long story. You see, he may be writing a book about me.
Oh, what a wonderful idea.
You think so?
Definitely. It'll be such a change to read something nice and... something nice.
And light. In the nicest sense.
Was she pretty?
Who?
Chapter 1.
Oh, very.
I suppose it'll be quite a thick book.
Why?
So many chapters.
Girlfriends, you mean? Quite a few.
All of them pretty?
Mostly.
And who's the prettiest of them all?
Well, actually, there was a slight disagreement about that.
Oh, was there indeed?
Oh, yes, Tony voted for Shirley Summers.
And of course you voted for...
Rosalind Young.
Who did Anne vote for?
Oh, she agreed with me, I think.
And Psyche?
Well, she voted for herself.
I demand a recount. But then, perhaps I wasn't a candidate.
Not really, no.
Worse and worse.
Well, it wouldn't have been fair to the others. Not with your personality.
Ah, now that sounds more hopeful. Tell me why.
Well, they may have been pretty, but you seem colourless. Make all the others seem prettier. I've started again.
Let's do just that.
What?
Start again while there's still time.
All right, then. Where from?
Who's the prettiest of them all?
Well, actually, there was a slight disagreement about that.
Yes, I know, but how would you vote?
Rosalind Young.
I'll make it easier for you. Was she prettier than me?
Well, there's no comparison.
Well, really, there's such a thing as being too honest.
No, you don't understand. Pretty is not the word for you.
What is the word?
Insipid.
That's even worse.
No, I meant the word, not you. You're so much worse than that. So much more than that. You're so full of personality, the others seem colourless.
Oh, so we're back there again. Well, it's nice to be back.
You're so gay and alive and so full of fun.
Good gracious, it was worth waiting for.
Was it?
Well worth it.
And you know, in a way, your looks reflect your personality.
Do they?
Yes, they do. Your eyes are all funny. And when you smile...
Funny?
You're always smiling. And when they laugh, your eyes are always laughing.
And when I smile...
Even your nose is a joke. What's the use?
Persevere. When I smile...
Even your funny little nose seems to join in the joke. Perfect's the only word for you.
Oh, I'm overwhelmed.
Oh, yes, there's something else, too. Something I missed out.
My figure?
Yes, and that's regrettable.
Regrettable?
No, the omission's regrettable.
And my figures?
Unfortunate. Impossible. I'll put a signal on.
David, darling, what are you talking about?
You must know, chapter 1. I was so terrified of being left alone with Avril, Tony arranged a distress signal. If I wanted him, I had to put a record on. What's more, I did.
Not seriously?
Yes, really. I put it on so jolly loud, it woke the baby up. Carol, of course. Alexander wasn't born. Anne was furious.
I'm not surprised.
And so was Avril. She went stamping out of the house. Oh, what a nightmare it was. What am I being so smug about? Well, let's face it, I haven't changed.
Well, I'm glad. I like you as you are.
Just as well. Why do you?
Why? Put a record on. Just because, that's why. Darling.
Oh, gosh. Would you like some music?
Would you?
Well, might as well. I'll turn it on. There we are. Well, then, let's see what record it... Good heavens. Now, that really is a coincidence. It's still here.
What?
The one I played that evening.
Oh, what's it called?
Oh, I won't tell you. I'll put it on. There. It'll warm up in a second. It'll give you some idea how desperate I was. That desperate? Oh, dear.
Psyche!
Shh, you wake Alexander.
David, what on earth do you think you're doing?
I'm sorry. I didn't know the volume was turned up.
Oh, too late. Zoe, I've got something on the stove. Would you go and look after it for me? Yes, of course.
I'm sorry, Anne.
I should jolly well think you are.
That'll teach me to be smug. All right, I know. You like me as I am. I bet even you can't tell me why. Can you? No, I thought not.
David, oh boy, what the dickens is going on?
The volume was turned up.
Where's Zoe?
In the kitchen.
Oh, dear. What happened?
Nothing, surprisingly enough. I was my usual self, but...
She didn't mind?
Apparently not. But you were wrong, you know. I haven't improved a bit.
Oh, yes, you have. And Zoe proves it.
How?
Better choice.
Well, there's something in that.
Everything bless your heart. Sorry, I blew up that way.
Oh, don't be silly. It was my fault. I'd love to hear the rest sometime.
Oh, really, George, supper.
Well, jolly good.
Still not happy about the title.
Well, I think it's first rate.
You can stop being tactful now. Let's think, what else could I call it?
I know what you could call the chapter with Zoe. Bliss.
That's it. That's it. That's the title. Just that. Bliss.
By Anthony Fellows. Or better still...
Better.
You told me to stop being tactful.
All right, you win.
And it is better, though I say it myself.
Well, say it then.
A Life of Bliss.
That, needless to say, was A Life of Bliss. The artists taking part were David Bliss, George Cole, Anne Fellows, Diana Churchill, Tony Fellows, Colin Gordon, Psyche the dog, Percy Edwards, Zoe Hunter, Sheila Sweet, Avril Seymour, Leslie Nunnally. This recorded program was written by
Anthony Fellows.
No, by Geoffrey Harrison, and produced by Leslie Bridgemont.